Well, good morning, dear hearts. I see we're doing the obligatory week after Easter, take the Sunday off kind of thing in the sanctuary. So for those of you who are here, yay, you're here. And we're thrilled that you're here, absolutely delighted. And those of you online as well, we're delighted that you're here with us this morning as part of our congregation, the online part of the congregation. So welcome to Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Mary Murray Shelton. I'm the community spiritual leader here, as I think most of you know. And we are just entering into the most beautiful spring right now. What a gorgeous season. So we're also moving into a new month this month. Those of you that, I have the privilege and pleasure of being married to an April Fool. So we're going to be singing to all you April babies later on in the service to wish you a happy birthday. But for now, this is your opportunity to wish each other a wonderful good morning. And so I'd like you to stand up and walk around and introduce yourselves to anybody you don't know. Welcome people, say hi, just make each other welcome. And those of you that are online with us, you are most welcome. So if you're alone, just take a moment to welcome yourself and celebrate that you're here with us today. Get yourself another cup of coffee or tea or some water and make yourself comfortable. We're going to come back and sing together in just a moment. All right. Wonderful. So now that everybody knows everybody, we're all acquainted, everybody said good morning, now we're going to sing together. And so we have Amy Steinberg back this morning, and she's doing songs that we've sung with her or we know, so it's all really easy. So I want to invite you to stand and sing, and we'll just let Amy tell you what's coming.
Good morning, Golden Gate.
Good morning.
It's me, Amy Steinberg. So happy to be with you. Let's light up the world. I light up the world with my light. I light up the world with my light. Sing it with me. I light up the world with my light. I light up the world with my light. Sing it again. I light up the world with my light.
That's the whole thing.
I light up the world with my light. I light up the world with my light. I light up the world with my light. Now turn to someone, sing you. You light up the world with your light. 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 We sing, we light it up, 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 we light it up. Light up the world, we light it up, we light it up, we light it up, we light it up. Let's sing we as a community. Here we go. We light up the world with our light. 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 Break it down with a clap. I light up the world with my light. Come on. I light up the world with my light. We got it. I light up the world with my light. I light up the world with my light. Ooh, light it up.
All right, the room is brighter now. Give yourselves a hand. That was wonderful. Thank you. Excellent. No, that was anemic. Do it again. With enthusiasm this time. Yeah. I mean, really, it's really good to acknowledge ourselves from time to time. We're great at as New Thought people, of acknowledging what's good and letting people know, but we don't necessarily let ourselves know as much as we need to. So every time you get a chance to acknowledge yourself just personally, that's a good thing to do. So now we're going to center ourselves and move within, now that we've done all the hoopla to get us in place and ready and connected. So I'm going to invite you to turn off your cell phones so that they won't interrupt anybody during the service. And then I'm going to invite our prayer practitioner for the day, Lori Greer, up to do our opening for us right now.
And so entering into this sacred time and space together, I know that we are held in a container of love. And there is only one love, ever present, infinite, forever unfolding into its creation, the creation from the one source that I call God. And in God, there is infinite peace, infinite well-being, overflowing abundance that I see in every awareness of the nature of life, the way that the trees spring forth with new leaves, knowing that there will be a time for it to shift and change as the seasons continue to roll. And I know that every time I look into the sky and I see the infinite stars, that it is so vast I can't even wrap my head around it. There is so much good. Infinite life continues to reveal itself through the people. Every face that I see, every relationship I experience, everything that I go through is God. Because there is only this one life that is living itself infinitely through its creation, through each person, place, thing, experience. All of it is God. And so remembering this infinite nature of the one, I speak my word in the first person and invite each one to know this same truth for themselves, because truly we are all one. There is no separation. There is nothing between us. We are interconnected, interwoven into this tapestry that is life, connected at the soul level. Even though we exhibit in these various forms of human bodies and lives that are so diverse, each one with an experience that is revealing to them something that looks so contrary, and yet it is all a part of the same one life. And so in this moment, I release all fear. I release all sense of separation between myself and others, between myself and that one source, that one energy that is just continuing to create a vibrant, beautiful experience as I allow that to happen, as I open to that greater idea that Spirit has for me beyond my wildest dreams. The more I let go and let God, the better my life looks. And so I give thanks for knowing that this is the truth for all, each one of us, a divine incarnation of that one life that wants to give more good than we can even imagine. And so I'm grateful. I'm so grateful to live in this truth. And I give thanks for knowing that as I release this word into the law, that a demonstration is made in each life. So I let it go now. I let it be. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Lori.
This is a song of mine called So Rich, all about the abundance that is mine right now and yours. Hope you enjoy it. You can sing along with the chorus. It goes like this. So rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich we are. So rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich we are. So rich. Dripping in joy, dripping in peace, dripping in love, we have everything we need. Dripping in joy, dripping in peace, dripping in love, we have everything we need because we are so rich. Grat-tat attitude spilling up my veins, digging on the decadence, goodness reigns, queen bee being on the throne of ease, rich with infinite potentialities. We think money has value, listen, it's paper, metal, electronic transmission, we get what we give, we are unique, we breathe, cannot just give, cannot just receive, there's a law of circulation, money secondary, you have an essence only you can carry. As I advance on my journey, I see there is a powerful good and it can use me. Hey, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich we are. Sing it with me. So rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich we are. Dripping in joy, dripping in peace, dripping in love, we have everything we need. Dripping in joy, dripping in peace, dripping in love, we have everything we need, you see, cause we are so rich. So rich once more. So rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich we are. So rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich we are. So rich.
Okay. All right. So here we are. It's still 2024, even though it's a new month, a grand rising. We're looking at, last month we were talking about that's the way we've never done it. So I think there's a real juiciness to that idea that we're looking at rising into our lives this year that allows us to move in a way that we never have before in life. Now, I won't ask you to move this morning, but I want you to notice what comes up for you when I ask you to move to a different chair. I just want you to notice that, because that resistance that you feel to giving up your comfortable space that you usually claim is yours, that's in microcosm what the planet experiences when we're resistant to change. So if we're not willing to change our seats, we can't really criticize political leaders and religious leaders and school teachers who keep doing the same thing that doesn't work, because we're not even willing to sit in a different seat. Does this make sense, what I'm saying to you? So just notice that, because when we're trying to change our lives, we have to move with that same kind of resistance. And when we take small steps to move through the resistances that we feel, we make it easier for us to make those changes in the areas of our lives that we want to make them, where we really want to make a difference. Does that make sense, what I'm saying? So I know it's not comfortable to confront your own resistance and have me point it out. It's not like I don't have any. You know, I'm always standing here. If you told me I had to stand under the clock and talk, that might seem weird, you know. So I understand, but at the same time, we just want to pay attention to that, because our resistance to little things gets multiplied when things are bigger than that, and it certainly shows up everywhere in the world. And I don't know about you, although I would guess that many of you are like me. You're able to watch what any kind of leaders are doing and think, well, they ought to do this. Yeah, what's this? That's ridiculous. Why don't they do this? Well, it's this thing, we all have it. So now that we are in the month of April, the theme is the power of prayer. The power of prayer. For a center as small as ours, we have a lot of licensed practitioners, and the power of prayer, sometimes we cede it to them. Like, they're the ones that are supposed to do the praying in this organization, that if you haven't taken a class and you don't know how to pray, so go to a practitioner. This month, or today, what I'm talking about is we're all practitioners. We're all practitioners. If we are science of mind folks, that's part of what we're here for. That's part of what we do. And so a practitioner is the way that we refer to it. A prayer practitioner is somebody who's been licensed to do the work they do. They go through extensive training to be able to sit with other people and listen to them and ask questions and help reveal what are the beliefs that are giving rise to this condition in somebody's life. How do we move those? How do we help move those in consciousness or remove them so that that person is freed from that condition, circumstance, issue, whatever it is? With me here so far? So they then go through testing every quarter. This is a full 2-year training process after they've done their other classwork. And that process has testing at each quarter as it finishes. And then they have a big written exam the end of the first year, big written exam for the whole thing when they're all done. And then they go before an oral panel. And if they pass all of that, then the Centers for Spiritual Living Leadership Council has to give them a stamp of approval, and then they become licensed practitioners. And every 2 years they renew their licenses, which means that they have to demonstrate, show that they have done enough service and done enough effort toward continuing education for themselves to keep up their skills as a practitioner. So it's a lot that they take on, and then when they sit at the table and make themselves available, they have all of that background and training and experience that they bring to sitting with us, hearing us, and knowing how to ask questions and help us move forward. So that's licensed practitioners. But a practitioner really is just somebody who practices anything. I mean, if you do yoga, you're a yoga practitioner. If you do Reiki, you're a Reiki practitioner. If you pray, you are a practitioner in Centers for Spiritual Living, not a licensed practitioner who then is qualified to sit with other people and go through that whole process with them and receive payment for that. But to pray for ourselves, it's kind of a given that that's what we want to be able to do, that we are here to become that awareness, that presence. There's a story about a little boy who asked his father if he could go across the street to visit with an elderly neighbor who was sitting out on his porch. And so the neighbor had just lost his wife of many years, and the little boy's family had had conversations about how tough it must be for him. So Dad gave him permission, so the little boy very carefully crossed the street and went over to the elderly neighbor and went up the porch and climbed into his lap. And the father was standing, back on their porch looking across the street and just wondering, what they were talking about. And after a little while, the little boy climbed down and came back, and they went into their own house. And the father said to him, "Well, what did you talk about, son?" And the little boy said, "Nothing." And the father said, "Well, I saw you over there sitting on his lap. What did you say to him?" He said, "I didn't say anything, Daddy. I just helped him cry." Practitioner. The energy of sitting with another or sitting with ourselves in the midst of whatever's going on and moving ourselves from that place where we're immersed in fear or worry or doubt or a self-criticism or feeling caught or victimized, and first being aware of, okay, this is what I'm doing. I have a choice about this. I can continue with this, and it may be my inclination to continue with it, and it doesn't feel good, so I can choose to shift. And if I choose to shift, then I'm taking back the power that I gave away to this conditioned circumstance situation that I'm feeling so victimized by. And when I do that, once I make that choice and I decide I'm going to feel better right now, I'm not going to linger in that, I'm not going to believe that idea. I am instead going to claim wholeness, power, strength for myself right here, right now, knowing that I'm connected to everything and everyone and something much bigger than all of us. And because I'm connected to all of that, then I have the resources I need to say, that's no longer affecting me, or that's no longer running me. Are you with me here? Is this making sense, what I'm saying? Yeah? So a practitioner is anybody who practices the art and science of spiritual mind treatment, of prayer. And I'll talk all this month about not only the power of prayer, but the process of prayer, the way we talk about it, the way we use it. But if you have never taken a class, if you've never had a prayer after service, if you've never sat with a practitioner, I want you to consider getting a sense of praying in this way, because it's a powerful thing. In Anatomy of Healing Prayer, our founder, Ernest Holmes, the founder of all of the Centers for Spiritual Living, he said, a licensed professional prayer practitioner has been trained to recognize their own biases and blind spots and have passed classes, exams, and an oral panel to achieve, oh no, this is what I said, a licensing, I already said this. But what he said in Anatomy of Healing Prayer was, we are a teaching order, not a preaching order. We are a practicing order, not a proselytizing order. In other words, we're here to learn from each other and to teach each other. And we're here to practice what we're learning, not to go out and try and tell other people what they should be doing, and not to spend a lot of time preaching at other people. So, you know, I never call this a sermon or a homily or a lesson, although some ministers do call these lessons. I just call it my talk. You know, I get to stand up and talk about stuff that we believe, and you get to listen and take in what works for you or makes sense for you. And that's what we do. But we don't tell other people what to think or what to do. We give them the tools to think differently, if they want to, about those moments of resistance or those moments of feeling victimized, and move forward from there. So when we have a licensed professional practitioner, that person is, we have put our faith in them. As somebody from Centers for Spiritual Living who's trained, we put our faith in them to know how to sit with us and do this process, do this prayer. And if you've never done it, if you've never experienced it from a practitioner, it's really a powerful thing. You can sometimes feel it in your body as the prayer is happening. As practitioners, all of us, because if you're in Centers for Spiritual Living, part of what you are is a prayer, a practitioner. And the ability to do that is built on faith. It's built on faith. Faith in several things. So, can I find that quote? I'll come back to it. Our faith is that God is right where I am. That life is speaking through me. Not just, I know everything and here I am, I'm talking, and whatever I say, no matter what I say, whether I'm paying any attention to it or not, if I'm just blathering, life is speaking through me. No. But when I'm speaking my word, when I'm doing my prayer work, then I speak with authority. And I recognize that it's not just me making a declaration of something, but I'm speaking from the consciousness of wholeness about something bigger than Mary. That's the spiritual truth of Mary or of you or, whomever that prayer may be for. And faith that law of life, that creative law of life, is actually following my direction. It's obeying me. So when we talk about creative law, that's what the power is that we're putting into motion when we pray. It's not just us using willpower to make something happen. That isn't what it is at all. We're surrendering sometimes our will to that larger, whatever it is, yeah? So in the science of mind, Ernest Holmes says, we now come to a definite teaching regarding prayer. We shall receive that for which we ask. It shall be open to us when we knock, and we shall find that for which we're searching. This teaching implies the definiteness of spiritual and mental work. God is intelligent mind and spirit, and there is a direct response from this universal intelligence to our intelligence. If we ask for bread, we shall not receive a stone. But we are told we must ask believing if we are to receive. So building our faith, building our belief in the creative law, the power of prayer, building our trust in those, that process is what makes our prayers powerful. Ernest Holmes would say the trained mind is more powerful than the untrained mind in terms of bringing things to us in our experience and making changes and growing and expanding and letting go of stuff. Sometimes it takes a long time. Occasionally you'll have a minister or practitioner who says, well, I never treat more than once for anything. Ernest Holmes had a eucalyptus tree outside his office. I think that's what it was. Outside of his office at home office in Los Angeles years and years ago. And it wasn't looking very healthy. There were no leaves. It just wasn't looking too good. And so I don't know if it was the staff or the board, somebody said, we need to take that tree down. And Ernest said, don't take it down. Let me do some work on it. So he began to do treatment work for the health and well-being of the tree outside his window. And wouldn't you know it, it came back to life. Of course it did. Because he was drawing everything it needed in consciousness right to it. To gift it with that, to bring it that energy and attention and love. Some of us talk to our plants or name them. I won't ask which ones of you do that, because other people might get nervous. But this is one of the things that living thing actually responds to our attention, our energy, our interaction. So our prayer practice is built on faith. In the little book, Freedom from Stress, Ernest Holmes is referring to this. Now, he's not only talking about our teaching, he's talking about the teachings of Jesus. As you'll recognize in that previous quote, there are a number of things he says that come right out of the Gospels. So he says, this is a perfect teaching. First of all, by a process of faith, we can look at emptiness and fill it with something. Next, by a process of faith, we can reverse the procedure and look at an obstruction, which is a physical something, and by knowing it is no longer sustained, it will be eliminated. That is what all creation is. No creation is permanent. It is the temporary appearance upon and disappearance from the screen of human experience, an objective result of a subjective cause. All subjective causes are invisible. All objective effects are visible results. So it's easy for us to not pay attention to the subjective causes that we're putting forth into our lives, because what we see in the world is a physical thing, and we often have ways of explaining it that let us off the hook. There's a story about this fellow who was in prison, and Actually, this really happened, I think. I'm trying to remember. One of our ministers told this story. This fellow was in prison, and someone asked him, he'd been arrested for armed robbery. Why are you here? He said, my point man left me. What he meant was the lookout deserted him, and that's why he was in jail. Not because he was committing armed robbery, right? My point man left me. And we do this in our own ways too. We find ways to let ourselves off the hook. And sometimes that's fine. But when we're really stuck, that's when it's really important to delve deep and find out, what am I hanging on to? What am I unconsciously believing about this? Or what am I resisting letting in that really would benefit me, that I really need? That's a change that is calling to me and I'm ignoring it. And then Holmes says this calls for faith and understanding. Two things. A complete conviction that God is right where you are. That's the first one. That life is speaking through you. And that the law of life is obeying your will. Now, I don't know if obeying my will is exactly how I would put that, but the idea that the law doesn't argue, it doesn't have a choice, it doesn't do judgment, it doesn't care. It really doesn't care. So, you could ask for your garden to grow full of thistles, and the law would do that for you eventually, because it doesn't care. It just produces. That's what it knows how to do. It takes the template you give it and it produces. And so we want to make the template that we want. And we do that with prayer. That's one of the ways we do it. And we do it in the process of faith, like building our faith, growing our faith, so that our prayers become even more effective, more powerful, more clear, to stand in authority when we speak our word. A lot of times when we treat, it sounds like we're getting really soft and holy, and we're doing our treatment like this. But oftentimes our practitioner teachers will tell us, no, you need to speak like you mean it. You need to claim it. You need to know it. You need to stand in it. So stand up and make me believe it. What you're declaring, what you're knowing for yourself, the spiritual truth you're seeing through the condition, let me know that you know it. Stand in that truth. And it's very challenging to learn how to do that. But as we learn how to do that, we become stronger. So we want to be able to grow and strengthen the faith so that we're actually able to take a leap of faith. As we strengthen it in small things, we become more capable of relying on that faith when big things happen, when big challenges show up in life, as they do, right? Everybody has them from time to time. So we want to strengthen faith, and it's all about practice. It's all about practice. There are so many different ways that things we do will strengthen our faith in ourselves, our faith in prayer, our faith in God, but we have to do them to get the strength, to get the faith. It's like any kind of physical muscle. It will get stronger if you use it, right? Yes? I mean, that's what I've always been taught. Get stronger the more we do it. And so our faith gets stronger as we sort of push it forward, test it a little bit, make it go further. Can you ride an extra mile on your bike? Can you walk an extra 10 minutes? Can you say no to a rich dessert? Can you, however much you want to change something, you have to start doing it, but you have to keep doing it because it's the practice that grows your faith and strength around that change, around that shift. And so all of these things that we can do, meditating, visioning, praying, studying, reading things that inspire us, holy movement, that's Sufi dancing, that's Tai Chi, that's yoga. It's physical prayers is what they are. It's the body engaging in prayer. For a lot of professional athletes, being in the zone is an experience of oneness with all that is. I've heard some athlete, basketball player, say that it's as if things moved in slow motion in a way, whereas everything could be seen and calculated in an instant, that moment of being connected to all of it. So practitioners discover in the process of praying for themselves, for the church, for each other, for everybody else, that process gets stronger in them. They see the truth more easily. They go toward what is the issue that wants to be released because they have practiced. And so the practitioners that are available on the table on any Sunday morning, you have a wealth of power and ability over there if you never pay attention to them. Today, we have practitioners in 3 of the corners who are our high watch practitioners in the service. We're going to start doing this regularly, so you'll see them. They won't chat with you during, the times that they've sat down in their chair, because now they're in a different mode for us. They're holding a space in consciousness to allow us to more easily let go of the stuff that's holding us back or holding us down, and more easily allow in that which blesses us, that which wants to lift us up and give us more. So, holy movement, prayer, of course, sacred community. There's something really powerful about praying or meditating or singing or anything with a group, particularly a group of people that you become familiar with, or at least some of them, because the shared energy is greater. There's a synergy that is greater than just a couple of people. Now, those of you that are online, I realize that you could be at home alone, but what I want you to know is energetically, we're right there with you, and you are right here with us. So this community, this sacred community, includes you, and where you are includes all of us. This sacred community helps us just by the vibration of being in a lifted space together, being out in nature, camping, skiing, whatever it is, walking, whatever it is that you do when you get outdoors, taking a walk around the lake or feeding the birds or whatever it is, noticing the clouds, hearing the birds, breathing the air, feeling the temperature, those things are connections with the infinite right then. And if we open up to them and pay attention, we get the goodies from doing that, but we need to do it intentionally. We don't do these things accidentally and then get the same faith benefit from doing them. We need to be able to be doing them with intention, with awareness, with willingness and desire to build that faith and go deeper, and to seek inspiration in your reading, in the music you listen to, in the people whose talks you go to hear, movies you watch, books you read, television shows. There are places where you get inspiration. And it's important to feed ourselves those things. We need that, particularly music. My God, there's so many musicians now in New Thought and peripherally that do stuff that is funny and uplifting and inspiring and so on. We want to take advantage of that. And then one thing that builds our faith tremendously is when we demonstrate. And what I mean by that is when we manifest, when we bring forward the result that our prayer was acknowledging. When we see it, we're tempted to say, well, that was a fluke, or that was a coincidence, or, that just happened. It's like the guy who's driving around the parking lot, driving. He's looking for a parking place, right? Up and down the rows. It's very crowded. There are lots of traffic. Up and down the rows, and there's no place to park. And so he starts to pray, I need a parking place, God, help me find a parking place. Now, we wouldn't pray that way, but that's what he's saying. Help me find a parking place, and I'll be so grateful, and this. Oh, never mind, found one. So when we're praying, we want to acknowledge a demonstration. We want to take a moment to recognize it and be grateful for it. Be grateful for the moment of waking up or the moment of discovery or the moment of receiving. I tell the story, and you've heard it before, I know, but I'll tell it one more time, about doing a wedding for a San Francisco couple who didn't want me to use the word God or blessing or holy or anything like that in the ceremony. And I said, well, it's okay, I can use other words, it'll be fine. But as I was driving to the winery that morning to go and do the wedding, I was feeling really crabby about that. You know, I was thinking, I'm a minister, for heaven's sakes. I'm ordained. I should be able to say blessing at least, or God, or something. You know, if they didn't want a minister, they should have got a justice of the peace. And at that moment, out of the blue, I sort of heard in my head, if I don't mind showing up incognito, why should it bother you? And I got it. I mean, I was kind of shocked at first, and then I laughed. It was like, okay, all right, I got it, I'm fine. I'm fine with using different words. That's great. So a demonstration, you know, sometimes will deliver itself to you as a point of insight or humor. And sometimes it's a direct correlation to exactly what you were praying about, although it very rarely shows up exactly like you thought it would, or even as you hoped it would. It might be better or different. And so one of the important things to know when we pray, so we've talked about faith, we've talked about practice, now we want to talk about feeling. When you do a treatment, this is, it's not really a secret, but it's an important ingredient. When you do a treatment, when you do a prayer, what you want to do is enter into the feeling of what that will feel like to you when it's happened. How will you know? What will that feel like? Because sometimes the manifestation that shows up does not look like what you were expecting, but you recognize it because you get that feeling you were looking for. You become aware that, oh, wow, I never would have thought it would be that way, but that's it. Otherwise, you can bring to yourself what you've been praying about and discover that it doesn't do it for you. That wasn't it. We can keep trying to get more and never have the feeling that we're looking for because we don't recognize what it is we're really seeking. I always say that when we pray, no matter what we pray for, we're always praying for more God. More God in my experience, whether it's a particular job or a vehicle or a relationship or better health, I'm praying for more God in my experience. And also, the downside, I'm praying to be changed. We're not praying to change God. We're not praying to convince God of anything. We're not praying to get a reluctant God to change the infinite mind. No, what we're trying to do is, as it says in A Course in Miracles, remove the blocks to the awareness of love's presence. That's what prayer is for. To shift us by claiming the truth, to shift us into an energy that can welcome, that can perceive that truth and let it in. So in The Spiritual Universe and You, Holmes says, but what is faith itself? If we're going to construct a fundamental principle of faith, we shall have to accept that it is a positive mental attitude which can be accepted by both the intellect and the emotions. So we're not trying to tell ourselves stuff that seems outlandish to us and we don't believe it. We're not trying to do that. But we do want, in traditional religions, sometimes people will say something awful that happened to you in your life. Well, it was God's will. So now, rather than letting myself off the hook, I'm making it God's fault. Well, I guess I am still letting myself off the hook. Making it God's fault. It was God's will. God did it to me. Right? Anybody ever hear that? Some of us have said it at certain times in our lives in the past. So what we're speaking has to be acceptable to the intellect and to the emotions, to the heart, recognizing the feeling. Faith, then, he says, is a belief, but it is a certain kind of belief. It is a mental attitude placed on the affirmative side. If a person has faith in God, he has faith in God about something, about the welfare of his soul, the final outcome of truth, healing himself, and so on. It is a certain affirmative way of thinking or mental agreement with the object of their desire, whatever that object might be, and the conviction that through their faith in God's action, it will become manifest. So, when a person has faith, they believe that that which has no objective existence at the present moment will be created and projected into their life by the infinite power we call God. Wow. You don't have to be an expert to pray, to start. Yes, when we teach it in class, we give you the outlines, we give you the rules, we give you the thing, and it's awkward and clumsy at the beginning, but the more you do it, of course, the easier it gets. But don't wait to do that to start. You know, we talk about affirmations, using positive statements to shift a perspective or an attitude. That's part of a treatment. So you've already got a piece of it in place. You know, start with the presence of God and then move into yourself as part of that and then do your affirmation. That's enough. Move your mind through that process even if you don't know the words to use. You can do a prayer wordlessly too, because the universe is so incredibly amazing. I came across this again last night, and I want to wrap up with this. This is called the specificity of nature. So when we're inclined to think that something is just random, you know, in nature, it all just happens. You know, it just evolved that way. There wasn't any intelligence involved in it at all. So this I find very interesting. Nature's specificity can be observed in the hatching of eggs. The eggs of the potato bug hatch in 7 days. The canary in 14 days. The barnyard hen in 21 days. Ducks and geese hatch in 28 days, and mallards in 35 days. The parrot and the ostrich in 42 days. Their gestation times are all divisible by 7. The 4 legs of the elephant all bend forward in the same direction. No other quadruped is like this. With 4 fulcrums, the elephant can rise from the ground. A horse rises from the ground, front legs first. A cow rises from the ground, hind legs first. The elephant is the only one that goes up with all 4 at the same time. Watermelons all have an even number of stripes on the rind. Oranges have an even number of segments. Ears of corn have an even number of rows. Each stalk of wheat has an even number of grains. All grains are found in even numbers on their stalks. Every bunch of bananas has an even number of bananas on its lowest row, and each ascending row decreases by 1, so that one row has an even number and the next an odd number. The waves of the sea roll in on the shore 26 to the minute in all kinds of weather. Flowers bloom at specific times during the day. Linnaeus, the great botanist, once said that if he had a conservatory containing the right kinds of soil, moisture, and temperature, he could tell the time of day or night by the flowers that were open and those that were closed. The time of day. Our lives, it goes on to say, may also each be ordered in such a specific and beautiful way. Only the one who made the brain and the heart can successfully guide each one of us to a fulfilling and satisfying life. Well, that's a little preachy at the end. However, the sentiment is really great in the recognition that there's so much order around us that we take for granted. We've never looked at it to see it that way, that how would we be any less ordered as a human race and as individuals? What in us is ordered in order to bring us forward into our unique path, in mind, in body, in spirit? What is inviting us forward into the next piece of this grand rising, the next piece of discovering a deeper faith, a power of prayer? So today, I want to put out an idea that I don't know how we'll go over exactly. Today, I'd like to say, anybody that wants a prayer with one of the practitioners this morning, please do that. And also, that today is Practitioner Day at the practitioner table. If you are a practitioner and you're not on the table, go and get a prayer today. Go and get a prayer today. Our practitioners are so used to being in service that we don't see them going to the table for prayer. Well, why would you go if they don't go? So I've decided that every so often, it's going to be Practitioner Day at the table. That doesn't mean that any of you who are not professional practitioners shouldn't go over there. You should. You might want to run over there first. But if you are a practitioner, I would like you to get a prayer today. I'm not going to take roll or anything like that, but I invite you to notice if you're resistant to doing that. We want to let go of that which gets in our way of allowing the greater good to come to us. It wants to, and we are here to receive it. Namaste. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Let's take a moment to anchor this now in prayer, right? So as we turn within, the first thing we want to do is just take a breath and relax. Second, now that we're ready, think about God, the unlimited, the unknowable, the vast, everywhere containing everything, all powerful. Nothing is too big or too small, always aware of everything, and manifesting itself as all of the universe, including us, and knowing every drop of it so intimately well at every moment, all the time. That presence is inside, all around. It's all that we are. Beyond who we think we are, there's a deeper beingness to us. This is our truth, our essence, that which is deathless, infinite. We are connected to each other. So I know for everyone listening to this, that we're anchored in faith, and our faith is growing. We choose to let it grow, to encourage it to grow, to remember, to practice the little things to allow us to grow in our faith, to become strong. I know that we are opening to the idea of prayer, a new kind of prayer, the way we've never done it, entering into declaring the spiritual truth, claiming it, feeling it, opening to it. This gift, so enormous and so powerful, is not withheld from a single soul. Every one of us is immersed in the fullness of that because all of God is right where we are. So with amazing grace and gratitude, we send this prayer into that creative law of mind and spirit, and we call forth from that law the truth of what has been spoken. We call it forth to demonstrate in our experience, powerfully inform our freedom, our faith, our power, our truth, and our celebration of that. And anything unlike it is just a temporary shadow that dissolves now. We let this word go and we let it be so. And if you claim this, say with me, and so it is. Yes. Stand now and join me in the morning affirmation. I am endowed, let's start that again. I am endowed with the power that created the universe. Take a breath. Let's say that again. I am endowed with the power that created the universe. I'm qualified to use affirmative prayer for my life now. I know that creative law responds to me in every moment. I'm grateful, and so it is. You may be seated. As we move into our sacred offering time, I want to thank all of you for your generosity with Golden Gate. It's wonderful what we're able to do and what we look forward to doing, and you'll hear more about that next week. But ushers, come on up. We're going to bless these offerings before we receive them. And if you're here for the first time, or if you're back after a long time, your presence here with us is your gift, online or in the room. And we want to bless that as well, because that's also a gift. But for all of you that are giving something this morning, and for all of you that give automatically through your accounts and all that, or if anybody online wants to text an offering, the number's on the screen, we're going to put our hands over our hearts. So hold your gift here if you have one, or in your hands with a loved one if you're giving it together. And we're going to bless the abundance of this offering right now with these words together. This gift I give is God in action. I now send it forth to bless and to prosper. I know that everywhere it goes, it is creating a world living in love, one heart and one thought at a time. And so it is.
This is a song called Power. There's a power in a seed, reminding itself how to become a tree. There's a power in a cell, and it's capable of making a you or a me. There's a power in a word, vibrating at a frequency. And there's a power inside that power, inside that power is love, 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 love. You can sing that with me. Love, 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 love. And you can feel it revealed when an open, broken heart begins to be healed. It breaks like the sky when a long, dark night starts spinning on the wheel of the world. Watch it rise. Out of the ashes comes another day, a bright light shining through your light. So much surprise every time we fall in love, 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 love. La da do da da do down, da ba do ba 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 down, da do ba da ba dee ba 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 da ba 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 da swa ba da ba ba da ba ba. There's a force in the fist, but when unclenched, it ceases to exist. It shifts into light. So much freedom releases from the wrist. So insist on bliss, 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 insist on bliss. And love, 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 love. La da 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 da. Sing it with me. We sing love, 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 love. There's a power in a seed, reminding itself how to become a tree. There's a power in a cell, and it's capable of making a you or a me. There's a power in a word, love, vibrating at a frequency. There's a power inside that power, and back of all that power is love.
Oh, yeah. All right. So, we do, all of us together, on behalf of Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living, receive this offering with gratitude. And we send it out in the world to seed faith in whatever form people need it, wherever they are. And so it is. If you are here for the first time this morning, I want to direct your attention to the welcome table back here. It has all sorts of information on it. Feel free to pick up any of that. And there are welcome packets. If you grab a welcome packet, take the blue card out. There's a blue card about this size. Galen's holding it up back there. Fill it out and give it to her. And Galen is going to give you a thank you gift for being here today, which is a little book called Nourishing Thoughts. And that's also our invitation to remind you to come on back. We'd love to have you here with us on a Sunday. And those of you that are online, we'd love to have you here with us on a Sunday as well, if there's ever an opportunity that you're in town and can do that. Also want to thank everyone for helping us get everything together this morning, including our High Watch prayer practitioners this morning who are in the three corners. So let's acknowledge, and this beautiful altar from the Frost family, which has all sorts of different representations of prayer from different religions and different situations, including a Signs of Mind gnome. So let's acknowledge all of that goodness this morning. All right, now if you were born in April, we're going to sing you happy birthday. So we want all you April babies to stand up. Go on, stand up. All right, so we just, hey, okay, no? Oh, Jerry's birthday's in April? Okay, so, well, you could stand for him, Christine. Stand for Jerry, all right? You stand with her, Amanda. All right, so, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear April. Happy birthday to you. Yay. And give Jerry our love. Tell him we missed him this morning. All right, I have only one announcement this morning. It's a miracle. Actually, I could have more than one, but I'm just sticking to one this morning, and that is next Sunday is our annual membership meeting. It's very important for us annually to do this. We're going to have an election because Leadership Council has some spaces open, so we're going to have an election. So members, you'll need to sign in when you get here so that you can vote. But everybody, please, you're all welcome to be here. And including those of you who are online, we're going to do a Zoom part of it as well. So you will be able to see on the website calendar the Zoom link for the meeting next Sunday. Just look at the calendar, click on that Sunday meeting, and the link will come up in the information, and you can click on it and join us. And we believe the meeting is going to start sometime between 11:30 and 12, right? And it's about an hour, maybe a little bit longer. So we look forward to you being here. Lunch will be provided for those who are staying for the meeting, and we just really want to encourage you to be here so we can let you know how Golden Gate did in 2023, what we're looking forward to, and just, yeah, have a good time together. We're always good when we get a chance to eat together. And now, practitioners, would you surround the room, please? We're going to do a prayer before we send people off to the prayer table, including you. All right. So let's turn within with gratitude. We turn to that infinite mystery, the presence, the one, knowing that it is full strength always, 100% present and aware, everywhere, simultaneously. Full strength, never diminished, never resting. It's fully aware, available, present. And the creative law is right there in that presence always. So it's also within us. The presence and the law are working in us. And so we claim for ourselves now a really good week, deciding in this moment that it's good, and nothing can diminish that. Nothing can distract us, because good is here for us now, and we're grateful for it in advance. We know what a good week feels like. Interactions, activities, whatever we're doing, we know what a really good day and a really good week feels like. So we welcome those now in advance. We take them in with our breath, into our bodies, into our minds, our memories, our hearts, our senses, with gratitude. We savor the deliciousness of a wonderful week, and we send this order, this blueprint, into the law with gratitude and let it do its thing. And so it is. All right, please stand and join us now for the closing blessing and song. So, together, I now walk so that whoever walks beside me dwells in the presence of God, and whoever places a hand in mine is lifted, and whoever thinks of me is illumined with God consciousness, for spirit and all people and I are one eternally. And so it is. You know this song.
Let's close with a Harold Payne tune that I love. It goes like this. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Oh yeah. Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. And I can feel it in my body, I can feel it in my soul, I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go, no. See, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Sing that with me. Something wonderful, something wonderful, something wonderful. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body, I can feel it in my body, I can feel it in my soul, I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go. One more time. Something wonderful, yeah, come on. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Last time we sing, something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Oh, something wonderful. Have an amazing week. Love you.